Okay guys, this is Tim Spakowski from King's Hobbies and Games. I'm also a figure painter and a war gamer. I don't just sell product just to make money. I was inspired to make this video from a guy named Jamie, mate over in the UK. This is my very first video. I have no idea how the hell it's gonna turn out in the end, but here we go. These figures are Rangers, modern Rangers from Elhiem. I hope you can see this. These are 20mm figures, and they are highly detailed. My paint palette right now for this base coat, this is what I'm going to be doing, it's called a shaded base coat. And I have Secret Weapon blue-black for dark, and I have a Vallejo model color black-brown, mid-tone Terra Earth game color, and my base color is khaki. So what I do is, this is my base color. I'll mix that in here. And oh, by the way, I paint with a wet palette if you can't see. I highly recommend that. Here's some earth. Here is black-brown. And this is Secret Weapon blue-black. I love painting with Secret Weapon washes. Okay. What I do is I put some glazed medium in the paints and put it over here too. And then I start mixing away. So what I want is, this is my base coat right here. I want to start having some shades, some mid-tones and some dark tones here. So I'm going to take some of the Terra Earth and mix that together. Got a nice mid-tone here. You see that? I don't know if you can see that or not. Here we go. This color. This is a mid-tone shadow area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my handy brush, and I'm going to just start painting real fast on the areas where I think a mid-tone would be. Now this paint it's pretty thin, so I need to thicken it up a little bit. It's very thin. Let's see here. That's a little bit thicker. You can see this. I'm just trying to get some quick color on here. I'm not really trying to get the figure painted all the way, or it's kind of like a glaze. It's kind of like a wash, just to give me an idea of where the paint's going. Give me a start here. Paint is very wet paint. So I'm going to take some more and thicken this up here. Put some more Vallejo khaki as my base. Take some more of the Vallejo khaki, put it over here. Take the game color Terra Earth. Okay, That's a little bit thicker. I'd like to see. Yep. Okay. So sometimes when I do this, and this happens, when I paint what they call, I guess, wet style, I don't know what the heck they call it, but I sometimes dilute too much paint or too much water, so it's just not really, it's not really doing anything. So I might just dry this off real quick. But it gives me an idea at least where I'm going to be putting the paint and what it's going to look like on the gray. I apologize. Okay, let's see here. Again, this is not like highlights or anything like this. This isn't even really what the main color is going to be. You're just trying to get a mixture of tones in here to represent shadows. And I don't have to really worry about being too careful, because this is multicam. This is going to, these guys are going to be multicam, and a lot of the uniforms and clothes and stuff, you know, the web gear, and that is that base khaki which we can build off from later on. Even the camelback, you know. So now what I'm going to do is I want to start going darker. So I'm going to take some of the German camouflage brown, dark brown. I'm going to start mixing that up here into this base. See, nice brown. I'm going to start applying that here. And everything's wet. I'm just kind of blending as I go. I'm not really too worried about fine details. Not at all. I'm just trying to get this figure covered. Again, so the shadow areas right here. Get you a little bit closer here. Shadow areas are right here. Definitely dark shadow areas are there. What's great about this is that this paint's still wet, and everything can be blended. Now look at this. This is a mess. This guy's a mess. That's okay. You just take a brush, because it's so wet, and just absorb the paint. Not all is lost. And I start building. Put paint in that shadow area. Look how fast. I mean, I've got a big brush. And then I go back to see what it looks like. Am I happy? Okay, now I want to get even darker. So I'm going to take some of this blue. Apologize again. Not used to doing this. I start putting the blue in the darker areas. I like blue because it's not black. It's an interesting darker color. It works great with browns, in my opinion. I'm still learning color theory, and I definitely learned through all the practice and trial and error that blue is a really cool color to add to shadows, for shadow areas, for dark areas. It makes those areas interesting, not just black. So as you can see, things are getting darker slowly. I'm building off of the base coats that I've been putting down, and this is not. This again. This is just this is James Wapple's technique and his terms. But but this is what he calls a shaded base coat, and it makes sense. Why? To me, it makes sense because the paint's wet, everything's wet, and you can just put paint where you need it. And if things are not as dark as you want it originally or right off the bat, you can just add more. See how wet this is? This is awesome. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going here. I'm not worried about detail. I'm not even getting, I'm not even getting in that mixed with it yet. I'm just trying to get some nice, I guess, framing done as far as how I see where the darks are going to be, where I see the shade, where that's going to be. Now again, this is a 20 millimeter figure. I mean, this is fast working surface. This is definitely a fast way to paint your figures. Okay, so we can see, I hope you can see. Let me zoom it in here. We've got different shades of khaki going on here. So, I'll zoom it out again. So I want to start defining some more shadow areas. So I put more of the blue and the brown together with the khaki still. I'm building out those shadow areas. My main teacher, painting teacher, his name is Bill Narden. He's now passed. When he taught me painting, he told me that there is no such thing as black. The color itself is a man-made color. That's always stuck with me, and it seems to be the case with a lot of opinions of other artists. I don't know, but I like having dark browns as my shadows, as my darker colors for shading. Just to me adds more of an earthy tone. It adds more of a richness. Okay, so pretty much got the shadow area done. Now I'm going to start. Clean off my brush here. Now I want to start building lighter colors here. Got nice shadow areas. I like what this looks like, and because of the gray, it really turns out well. It's not white. There's more definition. You can see more definition here. Definitely more definition here. It just looks better. Let's see if we can get this in here for you. Autofocus. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know this video is going to completely suck, but to start. Okay, I'm gonna take a hairdryer real quick and just dry this stuff off. Dry this coat a little bit. The hairdryer is one of your best friends. Let's see if I can pause this. Okay, now that I got the hairdryer on them and the paint has somewhat dried, I want to start building back up. I went pretty dark in some of the areas here. So I want to start building back up. So I'm going to start putting the lighter colors on this area here. And again, I'm not at the point of doing detail work and really worrying about perfection right now. Again, I'm just slowly just applying color. Real fast too. Not getting bogged down in any of the details. A lot of the shading and the glazing will take care of the darker areas, definitely. We'll get rid of the, well, it'll make more definition. We'll define the figure better. Paint will run into the recesses and okay. And you know what? You're most likely you're going to have to apply this a couple times. You know, just going over. Again, now I'm just really hitting the area where the light is going to hit the most. And that being said, even what's great about this color, because it's on a wet palette, if I see areas still that I want a little bit darker, a little bit more defined, some more life into it, I will add some more brown here. I'm just building up that color. And even the flesh, you know, the flesh, you can put nice earth tones there just to start, have a nice base. Okay, so this area right under here is pretty dark, so I'm going to add some more blue-black, just kind of stick it there. Right here, the legs and their thighs, all that chest. Right here. Now, these figures are not being painted to win a freaking golden demon. I am just painting for war games. These figures will be photographed, but I am not doing all of the best work I can in this thing. I'll do it as much as I want, much as I can, but I have a lot of figures to paint. I'm a war gamer. I don't have the time to do top quality figures. I don't know how anyone honestly does it. I mean, if you can do it, all power to you. I have 2 kids. I'm married. I have a pretty busy job trying to also maintain another business and a website. So I just don't have the time to put in all this fine detail to win some type of award. I just want my figures to look good for myself. That's why you paint. You paint for yourself. Don't paint for some guy on the internet that's gonna dog you and make fun of you or whatever. I've seen that. And you know what? There's always somebody better than you. There's always going to be. It doesn't matter. What's great about them is people who have worked on themselves, who are they want to share. They're humble. Guys like Les Bursley, James Wapple, Chung, you know, these guys, they care, they want to help out. They're not cocks. So, do it for yourself. Paint for yourself. Don't be intimidated. There's a hell of a lot more people out there that paint better than me. I know that. But in the end, these are my toy soldiers. That's what we're doing. We're painting toy soldiers. That's it. So, we're not taking any of them with us when we die. So let's just have fun. Okay, so I'm working on the lighter colors now. Definitely have building some definition. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. And because everything is, the paint is wet, it's thin. So you can apply these layers and they will blend into each other. Okay, so as I'm going higher with the light hitting it, I'm going lighter with the colors. Okay, so now I'm going to use a brush called a filbert. And this brush, what's great about this brush is it's nice and flat. It's got a big broad surface. And with this, you can quickly apply paint. So that's pretty. So this is not a dry brush. This is what James shows. You know, this is not a dry brush. There's paint on here, but I am just applying the paint strokes on here on the areas that's going to be lighter. So this is just khaki right now. And you know, because this paint is thin, you may have to do this a couple times, but that's okay because we've got, you know, we're painting a total of 3 figures here. So, and again, this is just the base coat. This is not any highlights, or I haven't done any highlights or anything. Okay, I'll put that down. See again. Getting more paint on here. It's wet. Here's a cuff that's been turned. Here's an area here. It's not dry brushing. It's kind of like dry brushing. You're using the bristles of the brush that's holding a lot of paint to go over, and it's hitting those areas that where more and more light would be hitting. A little filbert hidden there, here, and that. It can hold a lot of paint, this brush. Hold a lot of paint. There, the light's going to be hitting right there. Here. Again, just hitting these recessed areas, and this is not a highlight. This is just going back to that base color. We're just rebuilding. Apologize if I keep going in and out of the camera. And do not worry about going too light here, because we're going to do some washes and glazes that's going to seep in, first of all, to the crevices, but also will shade and mute the highlights. Well, if you can see. Okay, khaki, Vallejo khaki is one of my favorite paints that they make. I just use it a lot, especially for Afghanistan or Iraq, and it just seems to work well. You can see this brush real quick. I'm just going over the edges. I guess some people would call it, like, they say edge highlighting, but I'm not really highlighting anything. I'm just bringing back that base khaki color again. I know I'm repeating myself, but what's great about this is you've got a nice edge here on this brush, and then you've got a nice big round surface, and you don't get bogged down in details with it. You just now, could I have done just khaki and painted a wash on and stuff? Oh yeah, I could have. That's quicker, but this to me adds definitely more definition to the figures. Okay. Now I'm going to take a look to see if this is actually what I'm wanting. If I need to continue to go on a little bit more. If I need to do some more darks. I might do some more midtones here. And because if it's thin, and if you don't like the way it looks, you can just quickly wash. You can take your finger over it if you need to. And just go right over it. Okay, let's see here. There's some areas still that I'd like to be a little darker here. Okay, let's see, kind of clean this up a little bit. Let's brush. Some more of that. Start layering. I really like this figure. This is one of my favorite figures that Matt from Elhiem has done recently. I just like the pose. It shows a lot of, to me, just seeing how crouched down he is. You know what I know what he's feeling like. Yeah, he's kind of taking a rest. He's at the ready. That's what's great about Elhiem figures, man. The amount of detail and poses that he does in such tiny figures. I mean, they're not tiny 15 millimeter tiny, but they're not 28s. Again, I'm just kind of doing my thing here. I would say I'm almost done. Going back to the base. Okay, well, I'd say that these guys' base coat is done. So now onto some highlights. Wash off my brush here. Okay, for my highlights, I do my best not to use white. So I'm going to start with, let me scoot back here. I'm going to start with my khaki again. I want to start working up to the lighter colors. I like dark sand for this. I like Iraqi sand. You know, these are nice colors. Some of them are bigger transitions. So I'm gonna right now just throw in the Iraqi sand. Just a little bit. Okay, so here I have my base color, khaki. I'm going to take a little dab of the Iraqi sand. If it's too light, that's fine. Put more khaki into it. Okay, let's see what this is going to look like. So I'm going to take the filbert brush. Going to start hitting the areas where the light is really hitting. Trying to break up that one color look, or just start giving things some definition now. And as you see, I haven't really started using a detailed brush yet. That will come. I'm seeing this area that I missed by the neck here. Again, because the paint is wet, I go straight back to it, and I can just apply it right in there. If I want it darker, it's more brown. So at any time I might have three or four brushes sitting out here that I can switch to real quick. Okay, let's get this. So again, I'm starting to build up the highlights here. I don't know if you can see this good or not. Back out a little bit, sorry. Okay, get some more. So here's a fold right there. His sleeve is rolled up. That is really going to be a lot whiter, like beigeier color. But I'm going to start building the highlights there anyway with this khaki. Sorry, I apologize if I came out of the camera again. Okay, so this guy, there's some areas where the sun and the light is hitting right up here. So that's where I'm going to apply the highlights. Even at the back of the neck, there's going to be some highlight there from the sun. Strap on his holster. Okay, I'm going to go down a little bit with the light here. Okay. Get some more color. Again, this is not the highlight. This is not the brightest highlight. This is just building lights. It's fast. Don't get bogged down into the detail work here at all with this. There's still a lot more work that we're going to be doing. This is just kind of really building out the figure, painting wise at least, framing it out. So as you can see, hopefully, there's highlights coming here. We're working our way up from a darker base to the more of the khaki. Here's that edge of the pants there. The light's going to be hitting off that edge. Okay, so now I wanted to start even getting lighter. I'm working from my base. This is the base khaki. I'm going to add some more. If it's too light, I always add more khaki. This is the great thing about working with a wet palette. Okay, let's go back here. Hitting again. And if it's too bright or if you don't like the way it looks, you can always paint over it. You can always also take a brush and absorb the amount of paint and back in, kind of like a sponge. So all is not lost. got that elbow here, that nice crease in the pant leg. Again, these are 20mm. These are beautiful figures. Matt from Elhiem put so much detail in them. And because he puts in the detail, you really want to bring it out. And it is easy to do. Because they're sculpted so nice, it's easy to do. I'm almost done here with my highlights, edge highlighting. Again, don't worry about it if it's too light, because the washes and the glazing and that's gonna, it will take care of it. Now this, I seem to miss this whole area here with building up a color. So I'm going to go back, start adding more color, start building up. Again, wonderful wet palette gives me that opportunity. I don't understand why people fight trying wet palettes. Yeah, I mean, there are artists that paint really fast and they don't need it, that's fine, but for the average painter, I don't know. It's like you're fighting yourself if you don't. It works, you know, it makes your life easier. Okay, so I got some more shadow areas down here. Going back. Nice shadow area around the ridge, the helmet. Again, the paint is thin, it's wet, it's not thick, so you can actually create layers and create definition on the figure. A couple more highlights. These are not the final highlights, but it's just slowly building up. Okay, I'll let these dry. I am liking the way the colors turning out. Hope you can see that. That edge here. And if I want to emphasize that edge, put a darker color on the other side of it. More dark colors there. Okay, I'm going to stop and let these dry and start working on the next highlight.